We're your hosts,
Aaron Bacus
and Jason Kindler.
We like to sit down with our guests to hear their journey, their challenges, and how they impact the local community.
So grab a seat, tune in, and let's get inspired by Jacksonville's everyday workforce.
Welcome to Hometown Jacks. Captain Leon Dana, I am so happy to have you here.
Finally made it through the traffic.
This is amazing. I mean, I am so excited about this because I was going through the questions, and I know I'm not going to even need any questions with you because it's just going to be a fun 45 minutes to an hour
This will roll
telling
on its
everybody
own.
Wanting to know. Every man or woman's dream out there is to learn how to fish like you do. It's amazing.
You know, you can be great at a lot of things and not great at some other things, but when you come onto my boat, you don't have to be good or bad or fantastic.
Yes.
Everyone's on par. We're all going to have a great time no matter what. We're all going to catch fish. There's going to be high fives. There's going to be laughs. There's going to be smiles and memories made, no doubt.
You are an expert at that, and you're a really damn good fisherman. I mean, let's just call it out. Because I can remember times being on your boat where we cast it over to this spot, and you're like, no. It's got to be like 5 feet over.
Yeah.
2 feet over. And
Yes.
I'm like, how does that even make a difference? And then you cast it over in that spot, and then bam, we get a bite right off the bat.
Look, honestly, Aaron, it comes down to repetition and becoming, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, you're thinking like a fish. I swear, I'm not kidding you, Aaron. I mean, every day I wake up fish, I put them to sleep. I know where they live. I know their habitual habits. I've learned watching fish over 15 years. Learn me.
Yes.
Oh, I know they're smarter than when I first met them.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. So when I see a client that'll throw a bait out there and I go, not going to happen. What do you mean? That was a nice cast. Yeah, that was a nice cast, but you're still 5 feet outside of the strike zone. That fish is not going to leave that structure to come out and get that piece of bait. Are you sure? Reel it in, throw it back over there. Good cast. Now wait and watch. Oh,
Right.
There it goes.
Right. Well, I want to get into your history a little bit, too,
all right,
because so Captain Leon works out of Palm Valley Outdoors underneath the bridge. That's
right.
where you go out of every time. You're probably the preeminent expert of the valley. Tell us what like the area the valley encompasses.
Good question. So Palm Valley, which the boat ramp underneath the 210 bridge is 377 South Roscoe Boulevard.
Yes.
I consider anything north of that bridge all the way up to, I would say, JTB Bridge,
Right.
and south, honestly, in my opinion, personally, it's down to marker 38, which is down by the Spanish Well at Gowanna.
Okay.
And that's just one stretch of water that I work religiously day in and day out.
But you don't go north much, though, do you? Or
No, well, there are times that I will go
Yes.
to the north if I have a good fisherman,
Okay.
a good bass fisherman, a good artificial fisherman that I know that wants to fish docks.
Okay.
I'll do that. Or if I want to go for some of my favorite fish, which are snook here in Northeast Florida, I will take the right person, not anybody, but the right person up to do that. Because in honesty, we catch one or two of those in a charter, we've had a great day.
Well, I remember it's funny you bring up snook because we had a recent freeze and
did.
I've seen a lot of dead ones in marinas. But you said, I mean, snook are, I feel like kind of hard to catch around here, but you know the spots for those, right?
Yes, they are a creature of habit. They hide in only particular areas that I know of. And you know what? I still find them every once in a while out of those normal areas
Right.
where it's a nice little
Right.
bonus fish.
Right.
But our fish are local.
Mm-hmm.
They're not migratorial fish like you see from South Florida. No. These fish were born here, raised here, and grown up here. So they're pretty darn used to the cold.
Yeah.
We did lose a couple fish in this freeze. Hell, we lost a lot of different kind of fish during this freeze.
Right.
Some sea trout even died,
Right,
okay?
right.
But we did not have a massive kill.
Okay.
So I still feel very good
About the population.
about my population, especially my large snook.
Right. So where did you develop your love for fishing? Did that start as a kid?
You know, it did. I was probably 6 years old. As a child, my father, here, born and raised here in Jacksonville, he used to own a dump truck.
Okay.
And he would drive around dropping off loads of asphalt and dirt at work in construction sites.
Right.
Well, my dad would take me in the truck and I would see all these ponds. And I'm like, Dad, I can probably fish these ponds. Well, during the summer, He dropped me off on the side of the highway, on the side of I-95, just slow enough just for me to jump out with a fishing rod and tackle box. And they wouldn't pick me up until the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
And he'd be like, did you catch any fish today, son? I go, you bet I did, Dad.
Yeah.
I mean,
so was Dad a fisherman?
No, he wasn't.
How did you get it then?
That's crazy. So my best friend I'm 53 years old, about to be 54. My best friend of 52 years lives across the street from me. He got me into fishing. His name is Charles Hull.
Okay.
And his father, Rudy Hull.
Okay.
And they would take me fishing everywhere.
Wow.
We were like, I don't know, Mutt and Jeff together. Right. And we'd fish everywhere together.
Yeah.
And the bug caught me.
Yeah.
And
caught you early at 6.
And that's when you need to catch kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. More tackle boxes, less X boxes.
Yes.
And I promise you,
I love that.
You'll never worry again where your kid is if you know he's got a fishing rod in his hand.
Oh, man. How well said is that?
Oh, it's true.
So you didn't start off being a guide. I mean,
no.
Weren't you in the military?
Yeah, I did a stint in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
From 91 to 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so high school to Marine Corps?
2 weeks out of high school.
Really? Right into...
Hey, some of us know.
What made you do that?
Some of us know right out of the gate, we're not college material, okay?
You're saying you knew.
Hell, my teachers knew. I mean, all my teachers were like, yeah, college. Leon, yeah, he's a Marine. He's
right.
He
needs to go, Marine.
Yeah.
So was it ever just Army, Marine, Navy? You knew you were going to be a Marine right off the bat?
I personally, even at that age, knew that I needed guidance in my life.
Right.
I needed structure.
Right.
I needed my butt kicked.
Yeah.
Even at that age, I realized I could do better.
Right.
And I wanted to do something hard.
Yeah.
And I joined the Marine Corps and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Awesome. Did you go some cool places?
Oh, yeah. Been all over friggin' Asia.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. No children. No children. Okay. But all over Asia. But no, didn't get to see any wars. Fine with me.
Yeah,
just fine by me, brother.
Absolutely. Were you fishing when you were in the military?
Very little, but I did do once a hand grenade in a pond.
Oh, really?
Yes. It does make fish float.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. So you got out of the military, come back to Jacksonville?
Yep, came back. Family
Work
business.
For the family business?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Family business. Dana's limousine service.
Yes. Around for a long time.
Still is.
Your dad did that after the dump truck stuff?
Yes. Well, my father started the company in 1977 here in Jacksonville.
Wow.
We were the first limousine company in Jacksonville.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we built the fleet from 77 till 2003, I think it was.
Wow.
We were a family business. My mother, my father, my dad's sister, myself, my dad's sister's sister.
Okay.
I mean, it was just one big family.
Right.
And it worked great.
Right.
Up to 42 vehicles in our fleet.
Wow.
And I was the fleet manager.
Wow.
Yep.
So parties, weddings, big groups, just about anything.
Yes. You name it, we did it. I mean, from dignitaries to rock stars.
Yes.
We did it all. I've met a lot of people in my life, but I'll say it to you like I've said it to everybody. Everyone puts their pants on the same way.
They do, don't they? They do.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. Nice to meet you. If you're a nice person, I'm a nice person.
So did you stop doing that? Did the business end, or did you decide to go another direction, or what happened after that?
No, honestly, being a fleet manager put me on call 24/7.
Right.
I mean, if something went wrong, I was there to put the fire out.
Right.
That really cuts into your fishing time.
Yeah, exactly.
That really does. And when you're getting phone calls and pictures from friends, or word of mouth that the cobia are running, or the redfish are on fire, or God, you should have been down there at the jetties, the flounder, where we were just stroking the flounder. And in 2003, which is, I believe, is the year my family sold the company, I just said to myself, Aaron, I want to do something that makes me happy.
Right.
And it's going to involve fishing.
Right.
I have missed entirely too much fishing in my life, and I'm ready to get back in it.
Well, you also did some stuff where you would take snakes out of people's yards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You were like the resident, like,
Nocatee wildlife manager.
Exactly. Tell us a little bit about that. Rattlesnakes a lot, pigs, or what?
Rattlesnakes, pigs, raccoons, possums, armadillos, you name it. Now, folks, mind you, this is early 2009.
Right.
Okay. Back when
You're still driving
limousines and whatnot. And I come home and there would be a list of neighbors with text messages or pictures go, there's a picture of a snake. Is this friendly? Hey, I got this digging a hole underneath my AC unit. Okay.
Yeah,
or, hey, this thing rattles and hisses at me. Should I leave it alone? and on the order scale of not dangerous to I need to remove that snake immediately from the old lady's backyard. I would
work down the list.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny. I lived in Kelly Point, which was on the north side.
Yeah.
And let's put it to you like this. For 3 years, there was only 21 houses built in that neighborhood. So everyone knew everyone.
Right. Well,
and
that's
then
when
word got
Nocatee
around.
started going, and then it just stopped when everything, slowed down with the real estate.
You would know that of all people. Absolutely. And word got around to all the other neighbors. Hey, we got some nutcase that doesn't mind grabbing snakes, bats,
give them a call.
Alligators. Pulled a couple of those out of garages.
Yeah. Out of garages.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, if you keep the garage door open, alligators, they just walk around like, duh, 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 duh. Wait a minute. I'm inside with cars and the door's just closed. Well, I'm just going to sit underneath this car and hiss at people. Oh, yeah. Been there, done that.
Oh, my gosh. So, family business ends. You made the choice. I'm going all in on guiding. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So, but before then, had you been working the valley? Did you become an expert at that while you were driving limos?
Good question. So I have always been born and raised here in Jacksonville. I've always been a person of location. Growing up in Arlington, I used to fish Arlington.
Right.
Okay. Bought a house in Arlington.
Right.
Fished all the Matthews Bridge, Pottsburg Creek area.
Right.
Moved out to the beaches. Started fishing Sisters Creek.
Right.
Bought a house down in Nocatee, Pine Island, Palm Valley area.
Right.
And I'm a person that believes in being good. I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm going to be good at one thing or one area.
Right.
And I'm the first one that'll always say, Aaron, you want to fish somewhere else? I'll find you that guy.
Right.
But I am not going to go out of my way and say, hey, look, I can do this.
Right.
When I know that I'm not going to be in my zone where I know I am very good at.
Right.
Day in, day out.
And you developed that while you were driving.
That's correct.
So you had the confidence of saying, hey, I'm going to do this full time. I know what I'm doing at this point.
Aaron, it's funny you mentioned that. And I'm not exaggerating one bit when I say this. I went from a family business from 1996 to 2009 and just a little bit longer than that, full time. And in 1 month of me letting the word out, hey, I'm going to be a fishing guide, I quit my job.
Just because you were getting that
much work immediately out of the gate. That many people.
But how did just because you were born and raised here, people knew you were fishing, that sort of thing. I mean, how did that popularity swell so much?
Well, everyone wants to fish in Northeast Florida, it seems like. But the thing with me, my previous business, transportation.
True. You met a lot of
word of mouth, met a lot of people.
Talked about fishing.
I shook a lot of babies and kissed a lot of hands.
Right.
And these people, I'd be passing out my business cards. Hey, I'm going to be a fishing guide. I'm going to be a fishing guide. And they're like, we will call you. You're fun.
So that brings up a good point. So you had in your mind, you were working it. So 6 months before-ish, you're saying, I'm going to guide, be ready, that sort of thing. So you set the stage.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And you got to remember the area that I charter for, Palm Valley.
Yes.
Nocatee, Marsh Landing, Sawgrass, the Plantation.
Right.
I mean, all these areas. These people have expendable cash.
Yes,
okay.
Right.
I deal to a clientele. Mm-hmm. I don't deal to out-of-towners. Right. They're all locals.
Right.
I have my usuals. I have my habitual offenders, and I have my usual suspects.
Yes.
And I cut it monthly, weekly, every other week. I mean,
so that brings up a good point because you have regulars.
Oh my God!
So you have people that say, I want twice a month or once a month, or how does that work?
I have them. I sit down with them. I go through the calendars. I go through the tides, and I book people 12 charters, 10 charters, 20 charters.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
That's so awesome.
Corporate trips.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do corporate for a lot of business. You've seen a lot of business deals that go down over a nice redfish.
For sure.
Absolutely. It's a great place for clients to be taken out. Everyone plays golf, pickleball, they do something else, tennis. or sporting clays.
Yeah.
You get them out on the water, it's just you and him.
Yeah.
It's much more personal. It's much more quiet.
Absolutely.
You can be fishing and you can be talking great business.
Oh, absolutely.
Great things happen.
And how many people you fit on the boat?
I can take a maximum of 4.
Right.
But 2 and 3.
Including you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll take 5. It'll be 5 people total.
Okay.
But a sweet spot is 2 or 3 people.
Okay. Right. Exactly.
And then you add me, of course.
Yes. Yes. Do you feel a pressure to catch fish every time you go, or has that been gone for a while because you know you're going to find them?
Inside, there is always a small bit of pressure in the back of my brain that says, I need to produce, I need to produce, I need to produce. Doing this for over, I think I'm at 12, 13 years now, I'm still teaching myself to understand, Leon, it's not about catching fish every cast. It's about seeing smiles on their face, seeing them laugh, seeing them taking pictures of each other, them talking about their family and who they wish was here. Throw in a couple of fish with that, and you have made not just a day, but you've made a memory.
A huge memory.
Great, especially when you got children.
Yes.
And
well, you're great with children. It's so funny.
And I have no children. That's the funniest part.
That's the best person with children. They don't know they don't have children.
I think, you know what I think is great about it is that I can be fantastic with kids for 4 hours.
Yes.
And then I can give them back. And I'm like.
Be a great grandparent. Yes. But
I'll
whatever.
spoil I can be. I guarantee you.
So we talked about the pressure of catching fish. So can you remember a time you didn't catch fish recently?
Recently.
Probably not.
Look, seriously. It doesn't happen a lot, but something really, usually weather-wise, is what's going to cause it to shut down. And I would say, for instance, a few weeks ago, we had those cold weather come through.
Yeah, and I saw you post video. You were out.
I was out every day you were. When every other guy was at home snuggling up.
Right.
I get it. But what did you see me? Catching fish every day.
Yeah.
It took one day for those fish to acclimate.
Okay.
Water temperature got all the way down to 46, 47 degrees.
Wow.
And the fish were still on fire. Why? Right. They didn't want to eat, but they had to eat.
Yeah.
You just had to change the presentation.
Yes.
And your bait style and the way you fished.
Okay.
So being flexible, biggest perk, fishing every day like I do. Right. Waking up, putting fish back to sleep. Right. I know what they're doing. They're creatures of habit. If you don't beat them up too much, beat them too hard, they're going to stay in that area.
Yeah.
That's why I move around a lot. Right. I don't want to pound a spot too hard.
Right.
We'll come back to them in 2 days.
Yeah.
Back when they're done, that black eye is starting, or that little lip of theirs is starting to heal a little bit. Then I'll throw another shrimp back to them.
Do you probably know that stretch of area like the back of your hand, right? I mean, literally, is there ever a little spot like, hey, I didn't know that was here?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh my God, yes. I'm not.
Does the landscape change a lot?
No, it's not the landscape that changes. It's just, look, I've been fishing that area over 15 years,
right,
and I still find new spots.
Like, tell me how you would find a new spot. You're back in the creek.
All right. Now we're getting personal.
Because you get really skinny in the boat. So let's explain to me what that is.
Skinny.
So what's the draw on your boat?
All right, 10 inches.
10 inches.
Not 9.
Right. But you'll be in water 10 inches deep, or even less.
I will. Yes, I push the envelope every day, to get into spots that a 23-foot boat has no business being in.
Right.
I mean, I see kayakers that are like, "You're in here," and I go, "Yeah, I'm in here." And they're like, "We didn't know a boat could fit in here." And I go, "Yep." Now move out of the way. I'm going past you. I'm going even shallower.
So tell me how you find those spots, like.
Look,
literally, you're far back in the creek and like, my gosh.
No. You don't look at it like that. This is how you do it.
Okay.
You go home, folks. Serious. Take this little tidbit down. Okay. Get out your big screen TV.
Yeah.
Go to Google Earth.
Yes.
Look at the area that you want to fish, or the area that you want to understand more. Understand the creeks.
Right.
Zoom in. Go out of traffic. Go to your topography, and you start zooming in on your creeks. And you start zooming in. Okay, this is how I get into this creek. It goes down 300 yards. It splits to a Y. In the middle of the Y, there's an oyster bed. Okay, which way do I want to go from here? Right. All right, I'm going to explore via Google Earth,
Right.
to the left.
Right.
Oh, look, there's 2 oyster beds down there. And oh, look, there's a dark spot next to those oyster beds. That tells me there's a hole right there.
Right.
Or I see dark mud and then all of a sudden I see sand.
Right.
All right. That tells me that I've got a shallow area coming up.
Right. Right.
And I will sit there and I will map out in my brain fishing spots that I've never fished before. And then I'll come back and on an incoming tide, I'll go to that area and I will explore it inside and out.
Right.
And then I'll learn it.
Right.
That's what I do.
Awesome. Awesome.
You don't.
And the fish get caught in there, right?
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
Explain that, because I don't think most people would understand that. They don't understand how tidal this area is. It's huge swings.
We
right?
get 6-foot swings.
Right.
We get 5 and 6 foot swings
what
right now.
puts to the layman out there, that means low tide, it could be no water, and high tide be 6 feet of water. It's that dramatic.
It is that dramatic. And you also have your plus tides and your negative tides, which that means the water, depending on the wind and where the moon is, you're going to have water even higher than what they were calling for. Because, I mean, you can have a particular tide that's calling for a 0.0, okay? But you have a northwest or northeast wind blowing the water into the creek, it's going to raise it even higher.
Right.
Or if you get a moon phase with a super strong moon like we've had this past couple weeks, I got a negative 0.7, negative 0.8 tide. So it's 8 inches lower than it should be. Wow. Which is where I get myself in trouble.
So you said you think like the fish, and so are they like families? I mean, literally, is this same group of fish in this same little creek, or do they venture out in the middle, or how do you tell me how a fish thinks?
Okay, good fish. That's crazy. Good question though. All right, fish are creatures of habit. Fish are just like humans when it comes to hanging out.
Yes.
You got your little kindergartners. You don't see a 10-year-old hanging out with kindergartners.
Right.
No, you don't. You don't see a high school student hanging out with a 10-year-old.
Right.
You don't see college graduates hanging out with a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
No, these fish hang out together by size.
Interesting.
Okay, and they will hang out in areas, and they will be pushed around by the different sizes of fish. You will not want. I catch 2 or 3 small rat reds. Folks, rat reds are 17 inches and under.
Right,
Your
very
slot
small.
limit is 18 to 27 inches.
Right.
I start getting into mid-slot fish, which is where I like to be, 23, 24-inch fish.
Right.
I know that the majority of these fish in that area are going to be of that same size.
Right.
Fish.
But where do they go when they start getting bigger? They venture out into the intercoastal. They need more space, or what?
That is very true.
Yes.
Your backwaters are your estuaries. That's where your small fish are going to grow up.
Got it.
All right. Your larger fish are going to be in that area also, and they are tidal.
Okay.
They will move in and out of those creeks.
Okay.
But depending on how far they started back in that creek for the day, depending on how low the water gets, they may sit up in one of the holes, one of the bins, one of the drop-offs before you get to the mouth. They don't always want to go out to the mouth. Why? Because the apex predators live out there. Who are those? Those are sharks.
Right.
Those are dolphins. Those are leons.
Right.
Okay. So those are 3 things that they never want to see.
And not necessarily that order. So I'm glad you brought that up. Tell me the type of fish that you catch in the valley, and what's your preferred type that you like to catch?
Honestly, people ask me all the time, what's your favorite fish to catch? I go, the one on the line right now. Okay. Trust me. I'm as happy seeing that line bend, except for a catfish. We catch 2 catfish in a row. We're moving.
We're out.
We're out.
That's your rule.
Peace
Not
out.
1, 2. I'm out.
Peace. Two catfish and we're out.
Okay.
And technically on my
Always wondered
boat,
about that.
folks, if you catch a catfish, you go 1 fish backwards on your list. So if you had 5, now you got 4. You got to remake that fish back up by catching.
Yes.
Catfish don't count.
Non-fishermen listening to this, catfish is not a good omen. It's something you make fun of people for catching.
Right. It's
Even
no
though
good
it might
fish.
not be their fault. But
It's not their fault, but it's a no good fish.
So catfish, tell me the other species.
Well, generally in the valley, targeting redfish, obviously.
Yeah.
Trout, flounder, black drum, sheephead, snook, tarpon.
Tarpon in the valley.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of them?
Seasonal.
Because I know you go down to St. Augustine, the inlet, sometimes when the tarpon are running.
I do.
Right.
But for instance, this year, the inlet, the bait left the inlet and the tarpon came up to Palm Valley because it was loaded full of mullet. So I was doing tarpon charters in the valley versus the inlet.
Like big tarpon?
No, fun size, 50 to 100 pounders.
Okay.
That's
and
a
why
small
do you
tarpon.
think they left? Why do you think the bait left St. Augustine?
water temperature change, and wind.
Okay.
Because generally in that time of year that we're hunting tarpon, July, August, September, October, we're on the beach.
Yes.
And the bait was not on the beach.
Right.
But there was a lot of mullet in the valley, and the tarpon were there.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that had to be pretty fun, hunting tarpon in the valley.
Oh,
you don't have to go very far.
No, not at all. And it's simple techniques because, I mean, we can pound the banks, catch a couple redfish, couple trout, black drum, and then I'll go, all right, we got a limit of fish. You want to catch something big? And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's do this thing.
Yes.
It's easy. You know, you get out your 10,000 size rods, the large tackle folks.
Yes.
And you're drifting live bait back.
Right in the middle of the canal.
Well, it depends. They're usually on the drop downs of the channels.
Okay.
So you just pull your boat up, spot lock the trolling motor down.
Yeah.
Just look around for a few minutes. You'll start to see them rolling.
Yes.
They're rolling. Oh yeah, you're in the right area. Drift back 2-3 large baits. Let it sit there for 15 minutes. If you don't get a strike at that point, move 100 yards.
Yeah. Right.
That's how it works.
Tarpon, you don't eat tarpon.
No.
Why
It's the
is
silver
that?
king.
Is so bony, or what? Is it just considered a sport fish? It's never been eaten. Or?
Florida has always considered it. I think it's like the state. No, maybe that's the sailfish.
Okay.
But it's a game fish in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Extremely bony.
Yes.
I do know that in the islands down south they eat them.
Right.
More power to them.
Right.
So I mean, but no, we don't keep them.
Yeah.
We hook them, fight them, get big smiles, high fives, and let them go.
Oh, absolutely. And so the redfish are great eating.
Spectacular.
Flounder great eating.
Yes.
And trout great eating.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Not as the first of two. Do you eat snook?
Yes, but okay. Now we're getting on an interesting subject here.
And how do you cook them? Because I know you know all this.
Well, all right. Yes, you can eat snook.
Okay.
I do not really keep snook because I just want to keep reproducing my babies. Look, I just had a frost kill. Okay, so I'm not keeping nothing.
Right.
Now I would possibly keep a 31-inch snook if it was right and the right client.
Right.
And I know that. Look. He earned it. He's fished. This client has fished with me for 10 years.
Right.
Okay. And this is a trophy fish.
Yeah.
So I know two things are going to happen. First of all, he's going to get a mount of it, which nowadays all you got to do is call up Grace Taxidermy and you just take a picture of the fish. And number two, then I tell you, if you want to cook this fish, well, let me tell you how to cook it. And snook has just got the most absolute amazing white meat.
Interesting.
It's unbelievable.
What do you blacken it? How do you do it?
You can blacken it, but I like a little lemon pepper on a cast iron skillet.
Yes.
Oh, yes, please, with a side of yes. Oh, yes. Some jasmine rice, some hare's caught
That does
birds.
sound good. I might have to go to PVO tonight or something. They probably don't have snook on the menu. But.
No, they will not.
So redfish, we know flounder and redfish are really good eating. This brings up a good point, though, because I've always wondered this about a captain. Is everybody keeping their fish?
No.
Okay. So would you say the majority don't keep fish?
No, I'd say 60% do, 40% don't.
Okay. And the ones that do, are they conscious of like, hey, I don't need my limit every time?
That's correct.
I only want one fish to take home. Like I'm not a huge fish eater, but I like one, we'll put it on the grill. I don't need three. Like keep them.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're a conscious steward of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I push, okay, if we're going to keep a fish, we're going to keep one fish of this species. Now, look, you can go find another guide. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. That will let you keep higher limits.
Right.
But I am protecting my stock year in, year out.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I catch a lot of darn fish, man.
Right.
So I'm in one area. I got to take care of that area.
Yeah, for sure.
And my clients have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah,
they
that's awesome.
completely get it.
Yeah.
Every day in and day out, they're like, no problem, Cap. We get it. We're just here bending rods, baby.
Do you recognize, since you know the fish, do you ever recognize them? Like, oh, that's Bobby and that's Harry.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I, at one point, did a tagging system on my redfish.
Just like snap a tail or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a hole puncher.
Okay.
And by the way, it takes a brand new hole puncher. You can't use one of them ones that's been in someone's desk for 20 years.
It's all good.
No.
Yes.
You just take their dorsal fin and you punch a hole clip in it.
Yeah.
And it makes a perfect cookie cutter hole in their tail.
Yeah.
I did over 200 fish. I caught like 3.
Caught 3 again.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow,
I mean,
isn't that just staggering to think?
Yes.
Because didn't in the old days they used to dragnet for redfish?
Sure,
and
they
they
did.
outlawed that.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, that's great news to know that the population is doing really well.
I feel very confident in our habitat and our estuaries that are doing very well producing fish.
Right. And what do you think keeps that habitat good? Just stewards like you, or do we have regulations?
Regulations and stewards, absolutely. Okay. I know all my guys, we keep the bare minimum.
Right.
If we get someone that says, hey, we're here to fill the cooler, we'll go, well, let me introduce you to this guy or another guy, that may help you.
Well, and, sometimes I feel like people just want to do that and they have no intention to eat the fish, and it makes no sense. Are you taking home fish a lot? People like, I don't want it, or
never.
No.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, you can get as much as you want.
But
when this would bring up a quick, when you catch the fish and you put it in your live well, can you put it back and trade it for another fish? Or once you touch it, it's kind of...
Technically, there's some stipulations in there. Myself, and I hope I don't get myself in trouble with this, I keep live fish.
Yes.
Keep my live all the way till the end, okay?
Right.
If we catch a 21-inch redfish, I say, hey, he's going in the live well. He's good to go. And then the next catch, they catch a 26-inch redfish. I'm going to go, guess what? We just played the upgrade game, because I know that fish in the live well is doing just fine.
Right.
Swap out.
Right. Okay.
I've done it.
Okay.
I will not deny that I've done that before.
Right.
Because I know the fish are just fine. They are hunky-dory.
Right.
I mean, when I take these fish in at the end of the day, they're alive all the way to the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And then I quickly dispatch them and I clean them. So from being alive to totally clean is within 5 minutes. That's just a whole new way of fresh fish.
No, absolutely. And PBO cooks your fish for you, right?
They do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is a nice win-win for both of us.
Oh, absolutely. And I just remember fishing down in the Keys. The redfish are like really, they're sensitive to the redfish. Like the guides down there, they don't want you even touching it down there. They do their thing with the hook thing. And all. They're very sensitive to that.
Okay, so I know where you're going with this, Aaron. That's the same way we are with snook up here.
Right.
Well, they're the same way down there with redfish. It's not their staple fish up there, snook. You see them, they're grabbing them by the lips. Yeah, look at this. Got a nice 40. Tossing it back like it's no big deal. And hey, we do the same thing. We got a big 40-inch red. We're belly holding, going, big red. Toss it back, It's just about the location, really.
And probably the quantity and the population. Oh, absolutely. So where do you get these monster redfish that are kind of on black drum, kind of the same thing? Or is that up in Mayport where they mate? Like I've done that one time where the spawning season up there.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
Insane, huge fish.
Well, there's a couple areas that are well known in Northeast Florida.
Yeah.
For catching bull reds. Okay.
Bull reds.
Now, bull red, I would say is anywhere. I would say between 35 inches and 50 plus inches.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayport River, fantastic to fish all the way from the Mayport Inlet, all the way. I've seen people fishing for bull reds all the way to the Orange Park Bridge.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. They can get that far in.
Oh, that's awesome.
St. Augustine Inlet is another great area.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think the redfish are as big as they are
but
out of Mayport.
But you need depth to get those, right? They're down low or no?
Let me go on with this. So with as many years as I've been doing this, I have located fish seasonally, bull reds.
Right.
All of them giants.
Yes.
In 15 foot or less.
Interesting.
Yes. It's very interesting.
Yes.
I don't understand it.
Yes.
But I have found them 4 years in a row in the same spot.
Wow.
And it allows me to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would
Because that is a totally different fighting fish versus the same size fish in 40, 50 feet of water.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just remember going with you a few times. I think that's what's really cool about the valley and redfish. Like you can catch a pretty good redfish in very shallow water.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like I remember you pull into some of those little off inlets and you can just see the school over there and you're trying to hit it right in front of them.
You got to remember, Aaron, there are no gates. There are no bridges.
Right.
These fish can go wherever they want to.
Right.
And you never know what you're going to hook in that next creek.
Right.
I mean, I have seen 8, 9-inch redfish caught, and then the next cast a 40-inch red caught in 2 foot of water. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be here a while.
Which is the absolute excitement of fishing.
Oh,
You just don't know every time. You can be pretty calculated. You can have lots of experience, but you just don't know for sure.
No, that's what makes it so exciting.
Right.
I get up every day at 4 a.m. or I'm awake by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get dressed, get my coffee in me, and get going, man, because I've got a new day.
Yeah.
And every day's different.
Well, let's talk about that. So obviously you still have an extreme excitement to do this. I mean, do you ever wake up in the morning like, you don't strike me as somebody like that. Like, I'm ready to go.
99% of the time, I am fired out of a cannon. Okay. The only time you will see me not in a hurry and I just have that look in my face like, oh man, here we go. That's when I've had a bad day the day before.
Yes.
And I have a game plan every day and I stick to my game plan.
Right.
And if I have a really bad day and my game plan fell on its face hard,
you're doubting your game plan.
My next day's game plan, I'm really thinking about what the hell am I going to do, because yesterday's game plan didn't work.
Yeah.
That tells me I need to rethink my game plan.
Right.
So the stress is on. The pressure is on at that point.
Well, your definition of not working probably is not noticeable to most people that are on your boat. I mean, they're just happy to catch whatever. You know?
Oh yeah, and I'm sitting there, and folks, you got to understand. I honestly, I don't get to fish much anymore, but I literally fish every day, and by that I'm saying I fish through my clients. Every cast they make, I'm talking to them. I'm watching them.
You're making casts for them too.
I do that. Well, yeah. There's times that, hey, listen, we're on a 4-hour commitment, and if the person cannot cast, I'll tell them straight up, listen. You and I, let's work together. I know where the fish are. I'm going to do everything for you in helping you butt reel that fish in.
Right.
But I'm going to put your bait exactly where it belongs.
Right.
And before it hits the water, that rod's back in your hand, and I'm going to tell you what to do.
Right.
So they get a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
I'm not going to waste 3 out of 4 hours with bad casting.
And then you don't want them to mess up the pole, get it tangled. It's just not worth it. It's like, let me put you right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yes. And you're very sensitive about your poles. I remember that.
I can be. Shimano is a great product. They treat me extremely well. I use extensionally Shimano equipment, rods and reels, and fishing line.
Yeah.
And
Well, tell me about the bait you use. Tell me what the standard bait, just go through the list. What bait do you use?
All right. Standard baits. I'm usually a live bait guide. Okay. Live shrimp.
Live
mullet.
Okay.
Live mud minnows, live blue crab.
And are you getting those yourself, or is there a place to get them?
Good question.
Yep.
All right. Majority of your bait and tackle shops are going to have live shrimp. They're going to have live mullet.
Yes.
And they may have live blue crabs for you.
Right.
Okay. Your good bait and tackle shops here in Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, right out of the gate. My favorite, Palm Valley Outdoors.
Yep.
They always have shrimp, mud minnows. Right now, they even got live sand fleas for your surf fishermen. Yeah, that's nice to have.
Yeah.
You have Beach's Bait and Tackle.
Yep.
They got live shrimp.
Yeah.
They have mud minnows. They have sand fleas. They have mud minnows. They have blue crab.
Right.
Arlington Bait and Tackle.
Yeah.
Same as above. They have all the bait and tackle you need right there also.
Isn't blue crab kind of the luxury though? Like when you have crab on there, you're gonna get a good bite.
Well,
Kind of like the top of the bait list, or no?
When you're fishing for blue crab, and for those that don't know, blue crab is a primary foraging prey for redfish and black drum.
Right.
Okay. I have particular ways that I use blue crab when I'm fishing high water extensively, and let's be honest, nothing little is going to grab a quarter piece of blue crab.
Right.
No.
Because I love how you cut it. I remember this, like you could split it apart, you cut everything down, and it's a nice little hunk of meat. Plus, it sticks on the hook.
Right. A
hook
special rig. But you got to talk about the rigging that we're using too.
Right.
You know, I mean, I have a special fishing hook.
Right.
Weight combo that I use just for blue crab. And it's called the no-brainer rig. It's a 7/0 circle hook with a molded to the shank a 1/2 ounce lead weight.
Okay.
All right. You can only get them at strike zone fishing.
Right.
All right. It's designed for a quarter piece of blue crab. Now that circle hook allows you, when you properly rig it, to fish it damn near weedless. You can throw it in grass. You can throw it in rocks. You can throw it in oysters. It's going to pull out.
Oh, nice.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched redfish swim into an oyster bed, stand on their head, pick up the blue crab, and swim off with it. Oh, yeah. It happens. It's fantastic.
Well, you know, for those that aren't super experienced fishermen, I mean, being able to throw your hook in all those places without it getting caught, that's a big deal. So,
oh my God, yes.
You know, that's a big deal. So, awesome. We talked about what kind of fish you catch, and what? Tell me about the length of your trips. You mentioned 4 hours. So,
Okay. So general half-day trips are 4 hours.
Yes.
Right? And that's usually how it goes. Now, there's occasionally certain times of the year that I'll prorate a trip, i.e., look, guys, we're only available after work.
Yeah.
We can fish till 8 o'clock. You get up at 5. We're going to do 3 hours.
Right,
man.
right.
And you got to I'll do those trips.
Yeah.
But those are very rare. Very, very, very rare.
Right. So you're typically going first thing in the morning.
No. Oh, no. Every trip is different by 1 hour every year. I mean, every day, because the tide's different by 50 minutes.
Right. So your trips are dictated by the tide.
Yes, absolutely. Tide is absolutely everything, Aaron.
Right.
Generally, I will fish either the last 2 hours of the dropping tide, the first 2 of the incoming, or depending on how the bite was going the day before, 3 hours.
Okay.
Because, first of all, I don't want to waste my client's time. I want to get right into that fight right out of the gate.
And you know that's the most productive time.
Yes, absolutely. When you're fishing, high water is so hard to fish here in Northeast Florida because there's 50% more water for these fish to go.
Right.
50% more places for the bait to go.
Right.
You're on a chasing game just as soon as that tide turns, okay?
Yes.
So why don't you work to your strong side and force all the bait and all the prey to you?
Right. That makes sense.
Now, you talked about 4-hour charters. Yes, they are.
Okay.
I have a saying. It's a 4-hour charter. I never said I was coming in 4 hours. So whatever plans you have after this charter, don't make plans immediately for an hour or two, because if the fish are biting, we're staying.
Right.
If the fish are not biting and they start biting in the last hour, we're staying.
Right.
By God, I'm going to catch my fish. This is my fix. This is my drug day in and day out. Putting smiles on faces, high fives, and watching rods get bent. So if you think right in the middle of a fish bite, I'm going to go, oh, sorry, we got to go in. It's time.
Time's up.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Time just started. My partner, Misty, she understands, well, he's 2 hours late. I'll send him a text. How's the bite? And I give you a thumbs up emoji. Yep. She knows to pack a dinner, put it in the fridge. Absolutely.
Do you have a busier season than others?
No.
Because that's one of the blessings of being here too, right? It can be it's consistent all year.
Year round. I fish I fish a lot.
Yeah.
I fish a lot.
Yes.
There's not a slow season for me.
Yes.
I do well.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things is my clientele. They live here.
Yes.
They're not out of towners.
Right.
And the only time I do out of towners are when my locals have somebody come in from out of town and they go, Leon, can you please take our family out? Now, look, and they already understand right out of the gate. We understand you're already booked. We'll get a sub tide, but please take the family out. We just want them out of the house. Okay. Yeah, seriously.
And you fish pretty much 7 days a week, right?
I fish 7 days a week. Yes.
Okay.
And on days that I'm not working, I'm still out there, or I'm working on the boat.
Right.
I got to keep up with the fish.
Talk about what your boat is. Tell me about your boat.
Currently, I am in a 2017 Skeeter 230SX bay boat.
Because I feel like you got, this has probably been a few years. How old is that boat?
It has been a few years.
How old is that boat that you've had it?
A few years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was bigger than the last boat, right?
Oh, yeah. I've upgraded. I started off in a 17-foot skiff.
Yeah.
Then I went to an 18-foot Maverick.
Okay.
Which is, by the way, folks, is an absolutely phenomenal boat to run in the valley.
Right.
And I jumped.
Because you're probably debating on I want a little bit more room, but I still need to be able to get in the skinny spots.
Right. You got to find the sweet spot.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
And I think a 23-foot boat is the answer.
Yes.
Shallow drafting enough that I can get into my creeks. The only thing that limits me getting into creeks is turning around. Okay. If I go into a creek, why do you think I'm on Google Earth? Because I'm looking in there going, all right, I can get in there, but where do I turn around at?
Yeah.
That's important because you can get yourself in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Steering a 23-foot boat in reverse does not work well.
Yeah. It's an adrenaline rush riding on the boat when you're flying around in 10 inches of water, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me some of the other animals you see back there in the valley. Hog all the time. Any gator?
I look, yes. Okay. So seeing deer every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deer.
Eagles, ospreys.
Right.
Roseate spoonbills, ibises.
Yes.
Skimmers, birds.
Right.
Wild hogs, bobcats.
Right.
Alligators. Oh, yes. For those that think, oh no, there's no alligators in saltwater. Oh, you are so wrong.
Right.
Listen, they're always there.
Right.
They are there.
Didn't you tell me a story about one that ran over the top of your boat?
The
one
turkey?
Time? No, it was maybe it was somebody else, but I felt like you were.
Oh yeah, the gator that jumped over the nose of my boat.
Yes, that's what I mean. You pulled up to the side, you didn't realize he was there.
Holy cow! Yeah, thanks for bringing that little PTSD flashback to me. So yeah, we were in a creek. And this is when I was in a 17-foot technical skiff, and it was a negative tide. We were really low. And I mean, we were so low in the water that the banks were like shoulder height with us. And I was pulling around a corner I said, look, guys, one guy, I said, we're going to pull around this corner, and there's going to be an oyster bed on the right with a bend.
Yes.
And as I was pulling around, and I was approaching, unbeknownst to me, there was a big old, I'd say 8-9 foot mama gator.
Yeah.
Resting herself up on this bank, up in the grass. And you can't see anything in this grass.
No.
And I came around this corner, and my client was sitting right in front of me, and I'm on the pulling platform. And that gator came off of that bank and launched itself across the nose of my boat, cleared the nose of my boat. I touched cotton. I'm telling you, I touched cotton. My client touched cotton. I mean, there were some come to Jesus moments as that giant lizard flew across the front of our boat.
Well, I mean, because now you're thinking, I'm glad he didn't take a right turn right into my
into
client,
the boat.
And then, oh my gosh.
I'd have given him the boat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the boat's yours, buddy. No problem. I'm out of here. No problem. Yeah.
Tell me, well, you were talking about a turkey. Tell me about that.
One time I was going down the Intracoastal Waterway at daybreak. Anyone that knows about turkeys, they roost in trees, not on the ground. And I was heading down the river, and I was talking to my clients and having a good time. And all of a sudden, I look to my left and I see something flying, and I go, look! And a wild turkey flies across the ICW right in front of us. And we were like, man, that was cool. And then all of a sudden, the turkey that we didn't see flew right over the center console. I'm telling you, had my client stuck the landing net in the air, he would have netted that bird. It was that close to an impact. I mean, we're talking, I could smell what that turkey had for breakfast. It was so close. I mean, and then a couple weeks ago.
You don't think of turkeys flying, man.
They're
like me.
Spectacular flyers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then a few weeks ago, we're heading down the ditch, first day break with my clients, and I was like, what the hell am I looking at in front of us? And I always see something big and black crossing the river in front of me. And as I'm getting closer, I see it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I go, oh my God, that's a big old wild boar. I spun the boat around, pulled up next to it, and I grabbed it by the head and by the tail, boat side. About 150-pound wild boar.
Just swimming across
the pond.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, guys, let's get a picture right here. And I said, does anybody want some fresh bacon? Because, I mean, I was willing to dispatch it right there. And they were like, nah, we don't want that in the boat with us. And I go, no, man, I'll take care of it right here. And Joey Broussard, who is a great client of mine and friend of mine, who is like the last person on earth that you need as a voice of reasoning.
Right.
He goes, Leon, this is not a good idea. And I go, you know what? If you're telling me this, I'm going to let it go. And I let it go, and it swam off.
You don't see a boar swimming very much. That's
boar.
Pretty unique.
Oh, I see manatees. I see dolphin.
What kind of shark do you see in the intercoastal?
A lot of spinner sharks. I see a lot of spinner sharks.
Do they get very big or not?
Yeah, they get decent size. You know, they get 100 pounds, you know, 5-6 feet in length.
Okay.
You'll get your harmless little bonnet head and scallop head sharks, which will get 4 feet and 20 pounds.
Right.
Tastes great, by the way.
Yeah.
They do. Yes, there are bull sharks in the valley. Oh, absolutely. There's bull sharks in the valley. No, not big ones. Never see one over 4 foot.
Interesting.
But I know they exist.
It's not deep enough, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no. No fences, no gates.
Okay.
I promise you. It has nothing to do with depth.
Okay.
I think it has everything to do with food.
Just not enough.
I found a dead manatee once.
Okay.
That had a huge bite mark taken out of it.
Wow.
And I mean the kind of bite mark that makes you shark. One of those kind of moments. And I'm like, that thing's in here somewhere. I mean, we're talking about a bite mark over a foot wide. I mean, something that I'm like, I'm like, that's a giant bull.
Yes.
That's a giant bull.
That's wild.
That killed that manatee.
What's the biggest fish you've caught in the valley? Can you think of it off the top of your head?
Well, excluding tarpon.
Yes, excluding tarpon.
I got a 51-inch redfish.
Wow. 51 inches.
Cameron Smith was fishing with me that day.
Yes.
And by the way, folks, Cameron Smith is gold.
You've said that before.
That man is
I've heard
just,
he's a great guy.
He is a
Cameron Smith,
Australian
very famous golfer.
national. What's the right word? He's perfect. He's a treasure.
Yeah.
He's a treasure.
And haven't you taken his boat out with him sometimes? Yeah.
Oh, he don't fish in my boat anymore. I just show up at his house, man. And, hey, man, we're ready to go. And he goes, all right, get what you need. And I go to his back garage and I get all of his Stellas and all of his gear. And I packed the fridge full of beer for him and his friends. We go on his boats. We don't go on my junky boat. I mean,
you were talking about before you came, you're getting your boat wrapped with all your sponsors.
Yes.
Talk about your sponsors. I think that's super interesting. What do they do for you and who are they?
Look, in my career, most guys' career, we work businesses, work out relationships, both with fishing tackle, outboards, boats, engines, tournaments, et cetera, et cetera. For instance, my sponsorships range anywhere from Shimano Fishing Tackle, who also own...
And they provide you the tackle.
They provide me rods and reels for the year.
Yeah.
They provide me fishing line.
Yes.
Advanced Marine is my mechanic of choice to do all of my engine work.
Yes.
Suzuki outboards.
Right.
Okay.
And how often do you have to service your engine?
Every 100 hours.
Every 100 hours.
Religiously.
Okay.
If you work the way we do, listen, you driving like you stole it.
Right.
Okay. You're working hard, man. Every day. That motor, when it gets put down, she's put up wet. I mean, she's run hard and put up wet, man. It's a hard day. You flush her out and you go, see you tomorrow. She's like, thank you. Listen, trolling motor needs.
Okay.
Electrical needs.
Yeah.
Trolling motor services. Trolling motor services plus. I mean, all your needs.
Yeah.
These people understand guide life.
Yes.
We break down. We call up. We're coming in hot.
Yes.
Why? Because we're working the next day.
Right.
We're not going fishing in 3 weeks.
Right. So they prioritize you, which they should. That's really nice.
Rely on batteries.
Yes.
I use nothing but lithium batteries, not lead AGM batteries like you see 90, probably 5% of the rest of the force use.
Right.
JL audio speakers, aqua traction for my decking.
Yes.
Stuff like that. I mean, all these things help, and you build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And when clients get onto a boat,
and
first
it's
of all,
a great thing for the sponsor too, because if I'm somebody that doesn't know, like, oh wow, you just told me about this, I'm going to go there.
Right. Well,
Leon
I can't tell you how many times I'll be, hey, where'd you get this? This fishing tackle is nice. Yeah, that's a Shimano Vanford 2000 fishing reel on a Shimano GLS fishing rod. You can buy them at Strike Zone Fishing. Go in and see Tuna, Dalton, Archie, or Brian.
Yeah.
And I have so many clients that I'll walk and go, hey, I fish with Captain Dana, and they go, say no more, walk with me. And they hook them up.
Well, what a great, that's a great synergy there for sure.
Oh, it is a great handshaking business. We all work together so well.
Yeah. And I know when we've been out before, you have a really good relationship with most of the guides too, right?
Everybody in the valley, I like to think I know.
Right.
Personally.
Yeah.
I get along great with everyone.
Right.
There's no sense in being rude or mean. Hey, you're in my fishing spot. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Any guy worth of salt's going to not have one spot. He's going to have 20 other spots he can go to at that exact wind and tide.
Yes.
So I can't tell you how many times I'll see another boat that I know or a kayak that I know, and I go, hey, come here.
Yeah.
Line up right here beside me. We got our limit. We're about to leave. They're right over there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Collaboration. That's
But
that's great.
No, Aaron, let me tell you how that pays off dividends. I'm having a tough day. I pull into a creek. There's a kayaker right there. Hey, Captain Dana, they're right here. And he's like, I'm smoking them, Captain. I'll pull out of your way. Oh, it works all the time. It's one hand washes in the other. It's not hard to be nice.
It's not hard to be nice.
It's not.
It's not. Tell me about some of the radio shows and media that you do. Okay. So the outdoor show, are you on that quite a bit?
I'm on enough. We call me the B-lister guy, okay? When either Jeff Lagerman, Kurt Waltz, or Kevin Favor are on outdoor adventures, i.e. we're going hunting or fishing. I'll get a phone call. Hey, Captain Dana, why don't you come in and sit in for 3 hours? Which, of course, if I'm
but
free.
they call you about the fishing report.
Oh,
though,
no. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
If I'm not in there for the 3 hours, then I'll call in and give a 15-minute spiel of the fishing report. And then on Thursday evenings, I do the outdoor fishing show.
Oh, nice.
And that's the Insider Fishing Report.
Yeah, that's with Rick?
Nope, that's with Kevin Favor.
Yeah, okay.
And Ricky Kapoor, or we're doing it, or you'll have the amazing Corey Sparks.
Right.
And myself and Captain Chip Wingo will call in from 6 to 7 p.m.
Chip's hilarious. Yeah.
Gotta love Chip. Gotta love Chip.
Do they ever call on you? What's that Florida show?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know the Florida Sportsman Show.
Tommy, they call Tommy down a lot.
Nope,
in St. Augustine?
that's his gig.
Okay.
Stay in his lane.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Tommy's the man.
He is great.
Tommy's the man.
He reminds me just like you. Literally, I've been with him. He's like right there. And there'll be boats everywhere and no one's catching it.
That's right.
And then we'll pull up and put it right there and then we'll catch fish. You're just like,
Tommy's the man. And those are the kind of people that I'm going to tell you day in and day out. If you don't want to fish the valley, that's fine. I'll find you the person that you want to fish in that area.
Right.
I am not going to extend myself and make myself, first of all, make you look bad.
Right.
And make myself look bad.
Right.
I know what lane I'm good in.
Yeah.
I will find you that guy.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Right. Oh,
so
I know.
I'm glad to help.
The network is tight. And I know you're big on social. I love following
I'm getting there.
Well, I feel like you've gone through a little bit of a journey. Before you were doing it a lot, and I feel like you've ramped it back up again. A lot of video. Do you have something attached to your head where you're videoing, or what are you doing?
I'm running GoPro. Funny, very funny.
And did you ever do drones?
Oh, God, there's an even funnier story, okay? So, folks, I was on social media for a while, made a bad joke. Apparently some sort of bot, wasn't even a person, picked me out, and I got deleted.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow. And it wasn't even a political joke. It was, of course, I will not touch sex, politics, or religion, okay? Don't even go near those things.
Right, exactly.
But I recently, in the last 6 months, got back on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not here forever. I only got 3 more years in this business.
Right.
I want to go out on top.
Right.
I want to go out and I want to think to myself that when I leave, 1 year after I'm gone, they're going to go, you remember Leon?
Yeah.
He would do it here,
Yes,
buddy.
yeah.
He would. And I really enjoy collaborating and making fishing videos or giving fishing advice via my Instagram account or my Facebook account. And letting people watch my videos. A different thing that I have found different, you were touching on the drone part. With my GoPros, I shoot multiple videos on my boat throughout the entire trip.
Yeah.
And at the end of the trip, have a nice day, shake your hand, I'll send you a video later. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go home and for an hour or two, I'm gonna compile all the videos together to make a 3 or 4 minute music video of your fishing trip. I always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, a video, you'll show 1,000 people. And those people are going to ask, all right, who did you fish with? And you're going to tell them.
What's your Instagram handle?
Captain Leon Dana.
Captain Leon Dana.
Is my Instagram. And
Leon Dana
Facebook is Palm Valley Charters.
Palm Valley Charters.
And Leon Dana, yes.
Yeah, awesome.
That is correct.
Well, wrapping it up here, couple things. What advice would you have for somebody who's coming up that wants to be a full-time guide?
Oh, boy. First of all, be good with people. Understand people.
So that's a really, and I'm sorry to cut you, but that's a really important point for fishermen because typically fishermen captains are very crotchety.
Or quiet.
Right. And that's a great point.
No, you have to have a type A personality that when you meet a complete stranger, within 60 seconds, you just became old friends, okay? Usually I do that through making sarcastic remarks.
Yes.
But, as you've known that for years. But, and folks, I am extremely sarcastic. I'll feel you out real quick.
Yes.
No, a fishing guide can be a good guy, good fisherman, but a great people person, and you're going to make money, and you're going to be good at it. If you are crotchety, you're a jerk, and you're not helpful, you're a one and doneer. They'll fish with you one time. They go, yeah, we caught fish. Won't fish with them again.
And a level of patience too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
With kids and all of that, you've got to have a level of that. And that can be tough.
Oh my God, can it ever? I had a 4 and a 6-year-old yesterday fishing with me. Fishing with me. I had a 6-year-old Wilder. This young man has fished with me for, I think, 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
Kid is self-contained.
Yes.
I can hang the 6-year-old a fishing rod. I'll bait his hook for him, and I'll tell him where to throw. He'll cast it. He'll work it. He'll fight that fish. He landed a beautiful tournament quality 27-inch red with me and a 25.5-inch with me yesterday, all by himself.
Wow.
Now his little 4-year-old sister, her and I were working. I'm holding the rod. I'm like, okay, turn the handle a little bit. Yeah, you're doing good. But you got to have that personality to talk to a 4-year-old or an 84-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's important.
Well, my last question, I always thought it was really cool. I was just wondering, do you still call your mom every day?
Are you kidding? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on the nose.
Let me create this because this is really cool. He's done this every time I've been out.
Every charter.
Is it 10 o'clock every day?
Every day.
Call your mom.
Absolutely every day. My alarm on my phone goes off. Dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee. And I'm telling you, 98% of my clients will literally stop, turn around and look at me and go, you need to call your mom. They all know I'm going to stop that charter.
Every time?
Absolutely, she does. And if she doesn't, she'll call back usually within 2 minutes because she didn't have the phone near her.
Yes.
She has it on her watch. Yes. She sees that I called. She's using the cane, not the crane, the cane to get through the house to find the phone.
How cool is
that?
And
no.
And how long you been doing that? Since you've been fishing?
Man, listen, guys. Both my parents are 85 years old, man. Yeah. And you just never know. Aaron, I don't play the lottery, the Florida lottery.
Yes.
Because I already won the lottery.
Right.
I was adopted by my parents. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And every day to me is winning the lottery because I have them as parents.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I love them so very much.
Oh, that's a great
And
story.
I call my parents every day for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to say good morning.
Yeah.
See how the day's going and tell them I love them.
Yeah.
I love them so much.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great story. Have you taken them out recently or
nope.
Too much?
Nope. Dad doesn't fish. Mom's not getting in the boat. But I do every day send them pictures from the fishing charters.
Love it.
And then I call them again in the afternoon or the evening to tell them to give them the fishing report because Mom loves to hear what the kids were doing on the boat.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know, I barely even read my material. This was so easy today. Thank you for coming in. I think
pleasure.
we could go for hours.
Oh, we could. This is easy peasy for me.
Easy stuff. And guys, if you haven't been fishing or you want to fish and you want to learn about the Valley, Palm Valley and Ponte Vedra, Florida, Captain Leon's the guy. What a fun time. Go to PVO, have a sandwich. And
you can see my business cards in the bait shop.
Absolutely. And what a great time. Thank you, sir.
Hey, my pleasure, brother.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The Hometown Jacks podcast is recorded and produced by First Coast Mortgage Funding, located in the heart of Jacksonville. Do you want to be our next guest? Visit our website at hometownjackspodcast.com. We can't wait to hear your story.